Welcome to Road Adventures of Cycling Men of Leisure. As usual, I am Adam, but this time, ladies and gentlemen, in person, right next to me, is my good friend, Mr. Michael Sharp. Hello.
Greetings, Adam. How are you?
Oh, man, I am good. We're here in sunny Florida. If the wives are listening, it's 40 and raining. Actually, it was raining this morning. It really was raining this morning, so miserable. I had a golf club in my hand yesterday. You did something really weird with the hot dog, and we'll get to that later.
Whoa.
I mean, ladies and gentlemen, hold on for that story. So we went to Podfest, man.
Podfest 2025.
Woo-hoo.
We were there.
And they offered to sell you tickets for Podfest 2026. Did you sign up?
No, not yet.
What'd you think of Podfest?
First off, I would like to thank Buzzsprout for hooking us up with creator tickets. It was very nice of them. It was a great and interesting experience. It's interesting because you get all types in this type of thing. It's like you've got the people who are just doing it for a hobby. You got the people who are wanting to make $1 million off of it. You got the people who are making $1 million off of it. You've got the people that are doing things on really obscure topics like, I don't know.
Making courses, how
to do mini courses. And then you got people who are doing courses for their job, for like their work has hired them to do it. So you just got this vast array. And a lot of the breakout courses, you have your basic ones, how you start and all this kind of thing. But, a lot of it is around monetization. A lot of it is around writing books, which seemed a little, not real podcasty, but it was interesting. There was a wide array of people there. It was fun. We took in a couple of sessions. We did learn a couple of things, which is kind of nice. I don't know if I could go and spend the whole weekend there.
Yeah, so, it had early stuff happening on the 15th, and then the official expo kicked off on the 16th. You had some travel issues. We'll get to that in a little bit, but I went for the official kickoff of the expo, and then it had breakout sessions and lunch sessions and evening sessions, and you were invited to a bourbon thing, but our dinner ran over last night. There was comedy shows. So, if you had traveled there and you wanted to eat, breathe, learn all things podcasting, there was something for everybody. You and I, the platform we use is called Buzzsprout.
Yep.
They gave us free creator tickets, paid for, or I don't know if they paid for it so we'd come, or I don't know. I'm sure there's a back-end deal from the hotel. Like, hey, get people here, we'll help you out. That's how that game works sometimes. But nevertheless, they gave us tickets. They gave us all kinds of swag. They made fancy. They had a laser printer and made fancy keychains and with QR codes on the back, and even designed a logo for our podcast, which wasn't what they were doing for everybody. They just happened to. I had wrote into the show.
Looks really cool.
It does look really cool. So they gave it to us and SVG file, so we could do whatever we want. We could make a hot air balloon out of it if we were into hot air ballooning. But maybe. But that would be cool. That's
that's leisuring.
That is definitely leisuring. So, but no, it was in Renaissance Hotel by SeaWorld, and beautiful place.
It's fantastic.
Huge hotel. Lots of breakout sessions. I did go. You and I divided and conquered. I went to the monetization because, recently we never started this about looking at making money, and I don't think we're really looking to make money. We're just maybe covering some costs.
Yeah.
We've got some people who have made some donations. We have, our monthly subscribers. So I was curious about how to circumnavigate the additional core idea of the show, which is to reach our audience and tell our stories without, sounding and begging for money or how to do it. And so there was some really cool ways to do that, like sponsorship levels. And we're going to look into doing maybe a little bit of a media kit, but not just for monetization, a media kit just so we can have a guest on that.
That's right. So we can introduce ourselves to people who might not know us, but we'd like to have them on the show as a guest.
So interesting stuff. Ironically, we didn't plan the trip to come to Podfest. We decided that, hey, you get Monday off because you work for the federal government, and you got Monday off. And then I had a bunch of bank time, and I said, let's go. And we were going to come down here and just Podfest and golf. And
no, we were going to come down here and podcast.
But yeah, sorry, podcast. You're right. Podcast and then play golf, which we did play golf yesterday, and
yes, that's what you call it.
We
hit a ball.
Yeah, I mean, we hit it a lot, many times. So, we had some good shots. Yeah. So first drive up, I piked it right down the middle. I'm like, that's a good start. I like that.
Thing you have to worry about out here is the wildlife. Started out and there's like turkeys all over the place, like wild turkeys. Okay, that's a little weird. And then we ran into an armadillo. I mean, we didn't physically run into the armadillo, but it was there. And then we got to one area and there was a couple of alligators just hanging out.
Yeah.
So
definitely, first lady, we met a wonderful couple here in Florida. They're from Ohio, and
Ted and Tina.
And they were wonderful. And when they first started, she had an Ohio State Buckeyes, and I was like, oh no. And then he had a Buckeyes bag, and I was like, oh no. But we had a good time with the rivalry and joking around, and so it was a lot of fun. It was an awkward thing when Ted said that, hey, I want to thank you for waking us up after Michigan beat us, and it kind of, I was like, I don't know how to. I didn't practice. I didn't play. I mean, I made some bets, if that helps. But speaking of betting, did you make any bets before you left?
I did not.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll get into what I did. We'll see how well I did.
But in getting back to the golf, should we talk about golf?
Yeah, sure.
It'd been like a year and a half since I picked up a club.
Yeah.
Felt good. I got some really good, solid hits. At the beginning and at the end, kind of in the middle there, I really like the right side of the course out in the woods and the swamps, which I didn't go look for those balls because clearly there's alligators in those swamps. But what was really cool is we had a tee time at like 2 or something.
Yeah.
What was really cool is we had the 18th hole and it was starting to get dark and we were just like, oh, let's just hurry. And Ted and Tina were like, oh, you guys can play the last hole. It's like, it's kind of getting dark. And he's like, we have glow in the dark balls. And it was like, you guys can try a couple. So they went in the bag and pulled out a couple of these balls. I'd never seen them. They look like kind of like a regular golf ball. The dimples aren't as big.
I'd never seen them.
And so you put them down, you tee them up just like that. And when you hit them, they sail out and then they light up.
There must be the impact, the activation.
Yeah. So that was something I never tried, which is really cool. You hit them and they're just like jet out there and then like they stay lit up for like 8 minutes so you can find them. So that was
that was neat. I mean, I was a little bit concerned because there was like a creek, like a little waterway that boats probably go, through for Disney, moving around and stuff. I was like, man, I was afraid because when I drove it, I didn't know how far. He said they don't go as far.
Yeah.
And, I hit it and my second shot was going to be very, very problematic that it didn't, but I thought it was going to, just when you think it's going to go in the water, it cleared it, but I put a junk ball down and then I handed it back and they were really nice to loan it to us. So no, I had wonderful meeting those guys. We went to the Palm at where Shades of Green, beautiful course, had a great time. And today we're actually heading back out. We're going to play Lake Buena Vista golf.
We played that one.
Yeah, we have. And so nice forgiving course, thankfully, because I need a little bit of forgiveness. But no, it was a good time. So, but before I go on, should we left the listeners hanging on our last show.
Did we?
Yeah, our leisure community. We did not do the listener spotlight. So do you want to give us the clues from last time?
Yeah, I can give you the clues. I've got them right here. And forgive me, I am fighting a cold. So I've got all sorts of issues going on. So, but it's not going to stop us.
That's okay. We're rolling.
All right. Here are the clues that I gave you 2 episodes ago.
2 episodes.
Benji wouldn't let me do one last episode, but this town was incorporated in the 1880s. The early economy depended on mining, agriculture, and timber. Fathers should really thank this city. It started as a trading post. The city's name comes from a native language. This city was in the world spotlight in 1974, and a former resident of this city helped influence our version of A Perfect Christmas.
Huh.
What are you thinking?
Well, that last clue with our version of A Perfect Christmas, I'm like thinking something north.
That might be a good guess.
That's the best I got.
Wow. So basically he's guessed north. I mean, that rules out what, half of the cities?
Just saying.
So he's in the upper 50%, literally the upper 50%. Okay, you want to know what it is?
I do.
The city for this episode's or last episode's listener spotlight was Spokane, Washington.
Hey, didn't we have somebody guess Spokane, Washington?
Thank you, Franklin, because after you guessed Spokane, Washington, I looked up and we do have some listeners from Spokane, Washington.
Okay.
So I said, well, let's just do Spokane, Washington.
Okay. I thought maybe I was an episode behind. So, normally when I'm kind of a little bit out of my element here, we've packed up all the gear and brought up everything.
Oh, this element.
For sure. I normally have all my, leisure community notes, and I, as soon as someone writes me, like, oh, I need to get my phone because Paul Wade wrote us, and
He did.
and so I usually have all that stuff laid out like on boards, and now I'm here and
You got
a little bit different, but I'm rolling with it here. So yes, Franklin.
Well, I don't have headphones either, so
that's okay
I
because
brought them. I didn't have the right hookup.
and then that's because you can't hear me do this.
It's so funny.
Well, you know what? Now, two can play that game. Pushing buttons.
Stop pushing buttons. You're pushing the wrong buttons.
Oh.
You don't know what you're doing.
I couldn't hear any of it either.
That's right.
Okay, so you want to know how I got to Spokane, Washington?
I do.
It was incorporated in 1881. Obviously, the early economy depended on mining, agriculture, and timber. Fathers should thank this city. You know why? Because this city is the birthplace of Father's Day. First proposed by Sonora Smart Dobb, a Spokane native in 1909.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. It started as a trading post, which was the Spokane House, which ran from 1810 to 1826. The city's name, Spokane, comes from a native language, and it means children of the sun. In 1974, I thought this one would give it away. The city was in the world spotlight. I would have gotten this one based upon.
World Spotlight?
Yeah.
Not an Olympics.
No, but you're very close. 1974, Spokane, Washington hosted the World's Fair. Expo 74.
I have a crazy question.
Yeah.
Do we still do World's Fairs?
Believe it or not, they still do them. I don't think we do them here in America, but they do have them overseas.
Okay. I mean, because,
It used to be a huge deal. Now they're not quite as big.
Okay, because, here we sit on the Disney property, and then, of course, Walt Disney built Carousel of Progress for the World's Fair, and then, different items that were at the World's Fair,
Mm-hmm.
and so I didn't know, but they do World's Fair still.
Yeah. A former resident of this city helped influence the vision of A Perfect Christmas.
Santa Claus and Coca-Cola?
No.
I'm just kidding.
Bing Crosby I'm Dreaming of a White Christmas.
Yes.
Attended college in Spokane at Gonzaga University. Released the hit song White Christmas in 1941, and then later it became a movie, a feature film in 1954, him and Danny Kaye. One of my favorite Christmas movies.
I'm dreaming of a white Christmas.
It's a great Christmas movie. It starts out in the war, there's some shelling, and then it goes on to there to really good movie.
Yeah. Okay. Well, good. I'm glad that
Clearly you've never seen it, so.
I think there's been all kinds of movies. You know, Christmas time at my house is different time. We have like traditional movies that we see like Home Alone and Chevy Chase's Christmas Vacation. And
do not tell me you're watching Die Hard.
Oh, we did this year. Lauren.
Not a Christmas movie. Don't let me start rants, okay?
Where's that mute button? So Lauren wanted to know what all the hubbub was about. And so she said, I'm going to watch Die Hard. And she said, it's not a Christmas movie. It happens that he's going to a Christmas party, but it's not like a Christmas movie. So, and then somewhere, someone told me that, I have no proof of this. I just heard this, that Bruce Willis.
Bruce Willis. It is not a Christmas movie.
Yeah, he did.
But if you start that way, I mean, does that mean The Godfather is a Christmas movie? Because there's a segment of The Godfather that takes place at Christmas. Does that mean that, the original Ocean's 11? What most people don't know is that Ocean's 11, as we all know, George Clooney, Brad Pitt,
right,
is actually a remake from the 50s. The Rat Pack did an Ocean's 11, which was the original one.
Right.
Which actually started, the beginning of that movie starts off at Christmas time. So is that a Christmas movie? No.
I don't know.
It's not.
You're going to have to talk more into your microphone.
It's not.
There you go. Unfortunately, we're using different microphones than we normally use, so they're very directional. So when you turn towards me, the audience is going to be like, what is he doing?
They're not.
They're perfect. Well, I mean, there's all, the new one for us is the 8-bit Christmas.
The what?
8-bit Christmas with Neil Patrick Harris. And it's about like how he wanted a Nintendo.
Is this like a Hallmark movie?
I don't know if it's actually
it's a Hallmark movie. Ugh.
Have you seen it?
No, but it just sounds like a Hallmark movie.
I think it's a Netflix movie. It's where, like, when he wanted, it's a pretty cool movie. He wanted a Nintendo when he was growing up. Stop.
What? Go ahead. I'm not.
This is why the show works better when you're in Central Time. You're an hour behind. You don't get the jokes. It takes you an hour to pick up on them. But this Eastern Time zone is messing with your head. But anyways, in the movie,
we're still going back to that. Okay.
Just listen.
Okay.
My gosh. He wants a Nintendo, but his parents won't buy him a Nintendo. And so he figures out ways, and it's kind of interesting. So I don't want to give it away, but it's actually a decent movie. If you and Maya are looking for a movie for the day, look at 8-bit.
Spoiler alert, I've not seen the movie. Guess what? At the end of the movie, he gets a Nintendo. Done. You're welcome. Am I wrong? I'm not wrong. See? I just saved an hour and 35 minutes of my life right there.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, that's all right.
Don't you like it when I'm hopped up on cold medicine and I'm in Eastern Time? This is fun. Let's do this more.
Speaking of Eastern Time, how'd you get to Eastern Time?
Planes, trains, and automobiles. Okay. Do you want me to spill the whole bean?
Oh, man. Please, because if not...
Here's the problem. This is the second time I've been to Orlando in 3 weeks. I'm coming back to Orlando in 2 weeks. When I looked at my little Delta app to set my clock the morning of my flight out here, I pulled up my flight to Orlando. Well, I was under a lot of cold medication, and I pulled up my flight to Orlando. No problem. Problem with it is the flight that I pulled up to Orlando was the flight that I have in 2 weeks, which is an hour off. This one left at 7:03. That one leaves at 8:05. So I was going off the 8:05 one. So show up at the airport, Sorry, Mr. Sharp, we can't let you on. Your flight's already boarding. Okay. They could get me standby to Atlanta in 20 minutes after, well, I guess it was 2 hours after my regular flight. Get to Atlanta. If you've ever been on standby in Atlanta,
I never have.
just bring a tent, camp out, because it's going to be a long time. So I went in there, went to the lady at the counter. Yeah, you're standby for this flight. So I went to that gate, waited an hour, didn't make it. There was 12 people. I then was told, well, it would roll over to another gate. I went to that gate. Didn't make it. Same 12 people, just like we were like herd animals. Went from this gate to this gate. So finally I was like, okay, the same 12 people are going to be following me, or I'm going to be following them to the next gate. So I went to the customer service people and I said, is there any way I can get to Orlando? In fact, I don't even care if I get to Orlando. Can you get me to Tampa? Because then I could just rent a car, drive over. It's like an hour and a half or something. She's like, that wouldn't do you any good. I was like, okay. And then she did some more checking. She's like, actually, you've got a better chance of that getting standby there than you do the one to Orlando. And I said, perfect. She's like, okay, here you go. Gave me the thing, printed it out. I was an A. Atlanta is the largest airport in the world, as you're aware. A is on one side. All the way on the other is T. Now, if you've ever been to the Atlanta airport and you've been to Terminal T, if you've ever seen like an apocalyptic movie or an Old West movie, T is like the outpost that's on the fringes. No one goes there unless you have to. It's kind of like Mos Eisley on Star Wars. Just a collection of really weird stuff all thrown together. You're kind of out there on the fringes of everything. Don't know what's going to happen. And it's the newer one, so it's not as developed. There's a lot of spaces where shops haven't went in and things like that. So, trucked it all the way down there, had a 3-hour wait. And of course, it wasn't like, right at the beginning. I had to go all the way. I was at the edge of the end of the outpost. So I was I was out there, barely surviving. It would have made a good story. So I'm waiting. 3 hours later.
You didn't choose to maybe hang some stucco or hang some wire?
Well, and that's the funny thing. I'm sitting there for 3 hours, pounding my head against the thing saying, God, I hope I get on this. And that first thing that popped in my mind, what is that movie? It's got Tom Hanks in it.
Terminal.
I started thinking about that. I was like, oh my God, I'm just going to be like Tom Hanks. I'm going to be here all night. And I was actually thinking, because some of it's still under construction, it's like, I wonder if there's any bricklaying they need or something. Now, my skill set has very limited masonry job that I thought, you know what, I could find some and, I don't know, put something together. 2 days later, they find it and go, what the hell? Who did this? It wouldn't be that pretty thing that Tom came up with. But 3 hours later, same 12 people, plus we've added a couple more to our little colony now, because everybody else apparently thought the same thing I did. They start talking and they're like, hey, ladies and gentlemen, we've overbooked this flight. We need 5 people to come. And I was like, there's no way I'm getting on this flight. So then after the flight leaves, because I held out, went to customer service again. And this guy was like, oh, well, you should have been at A17. You could have got on that flight. I was like, wait a minute. The lady over there 3 hours ago said I had no chance of getting on that one, that I had a better chance. She was like, well, she was wrong. I was like, oh my God. So he said, there's this thing called, I guess it's certified or something.
Confirmed.
And the lady in Kansas City gave me a number to call to confirm, to see if I wanted to confirm. And I called the number right in front of her. And I was like, yeah, what do you got? And he's like, yeah, we can confirm you, but it is going to be $1,180.
Not good.
And I was like, what? That's way more than I paid. I'm not going to confirm for that much. Well, talking with this gentleman, he basically said, oh yeah, it would have been $75 to confirm your flight. And I was like, that's not what I was told. And he's like, okay. He had to apologize for everybody who worked for Delta other than him pretty much that day. And I was like, well, I would have paid the $75. So needless to say, he did a standby and then I had to confirm for the next day. The next standby came, got right down to the wire, a family of 3, which I apologize to you right now. I'm sorry. I'm sure it ruined your kids' evening or whatever. you didn't make it to the gate on time. So me and my 3 brethren, standby people, got to sit in your 3 seats. So we had a little section in the plane. All 3 of us sat right together. We were the standby guys.
Well, I made it just fine.
Yeah, okay. We don't need to hear what I was first class, and I had an omelet, and I had 2 Woodfords, and she gave me a moist towelette with lemon scent in it, and it was just delightful and wonderful. And oh yeah, I was upgraded, of course, and yeah. Yeah.
One of us knows how to read the schedule, and one of us, unfortunately, had a.
It was a legitimate mistake. And the problem with it is I was coming to the same flight all 3 times. But anyway, I got here.
You're here. But I have a serious question. I've been thinking, do you not check in 24 hours before?
I did check in.
And then on that boarding pass, it clearly says boarding time. Did you not see it?
I just looked at my thing and it's 8:05. I mean, I didn't actually pull up the boarding pass.
All good. You're here. Life is gone. But yeah, what's a funny story? We were actually we rented a car, and we were gonna put the rental car in your name. And
I should have. Now that I look back,
I'm glad you didn't, because I took the 7:25 out of Detroit and got into Orlando at 10:10 and in the morning.
Let's hear it.
And wasn't sure. I know. I'm just saying it's a good thing I rented the car, because then I was able to.
What was on your omelet?
It was delicious, actually. Well, listen, I'm a big wheel. I mean, Delta calls me and wishes me.
You're a big something. Anyway, we're all here. We're in Florida.
That's right.
I've got a little bit of a cold, but from the last time I was in Florida, but
it's the Florida crud.
It is.
I told my staff, I'm like, well, guys, this is my normal voice, because when I get back, I'm sure I'm going to have the crud. So
anyway,
par for the course. So
we're here. We're golfing. We ate well last night.
We did.
Attended Podfest. Life is good.
So speaking of Podfest, we learned a few items, and I am going to put it out there. We are in the hunt for sponsors. And so let's discuss just a second what that means. A sponsor could be something as a small token, something that you'd like your name mentioned on the show a couple times, or could be larger. I mean, we are looking for a few people who might want listen to us and like what we share and enjoy our humor and everything else, and you get value add from the show. And if you think that your business or idea or something if that interests you to spread that, reach out to us. Let us know that that's something that you're interested in doing, and so we can definitely communicate off the show about that. So you can go to cyclingmenofleisure@gmail.com, or anywhere you find the podcast. You can probably find our communications, or Facebook, or go ahead.
Go finish what you're saying.
Or any way. I mean, there's many ways to reach us.
Are you done with that topic?
Well, it won't be TikTok.
Don't reach us on TikTok.
Yeah.
Because unless things changes as of tomorrow, Chinese will not be getting our information, so they say.
It's going to go
to another communist-driven site, and, Russia's going to be getting our information.
I know. What about all those things that you can buy on the TikTok shop? Just kidding.
I haven't bought anything there so far, so I guess I'm okay. Anyway, if we're done with that,
yes,
we're going to be putting together some sponsor levels and different things. We got some ideas just flowing. And when we're done with this, we're going to have our own Podfest and do some brainstorming and put some ideas together here in beautiful Orlando, Florida. So,
Orlando.
Thank you. What I wanted to say is you made me think we are going to Bourbon Country Burn.
We are.
And we've already got a couple people signed up.
Multiple.
For our team.
Multiple.
And when you go to sign up, you register for Bourbon Country Burn. You can put in your team there. So you could put in Cycling Men of Leisure. So if you've not been, could be the last year. No guarantees. Just kind of what they've hinted at. Certainly come. We'd like to invite you. Join our team. We're going to have a good time. We're going to cycle. we're going to see some horses, and we're going to drink some bourbon. So come and join us. And we also are going to Big Bragg, again, bike ride across Georgia. And we've already had a bunch of people say they're going to be joining us there. So come and join us there. And we are still looking for another ride. We got a couple of ideas. Hopefully we'll be able to announce that in the next couple of months.
Yeah, absolutely. For the Bourbon Country Burn to be on the team, you're going to need a password. Just private message me. Anyone who has messaged me, I get back with them instantaneous. So
it's the same password of his luggage combo, if you know what that is.
Actually, no, my luggage combo is 0000. I've never changed it. It's factory default.
No. Okay.
I mean, TSA can get in there anyway. I mean,
what's the point?
I love the...
Remember back in the day when we locked everything?
Yeah.
We didn't want anybody to get in there, and then, yeah.
But
change.
Then remember when they came out with the TSA locks? You could get a special design TSA. They had keys like...
Yeah, that they could just like...
Yeah. Oh, it's lock 4, or whatever on the bottom. And then sometimes I would go to the airport and I see like people bring Pelican cases, big plastic Pelican cases. It has locks like all 4 sides. And I'm like, there's no way they're letting you get on that. Like, no. And, that reminds me of what we do during the summer when we get our bikes back and they have those TSA notes in them. We
have inspected your luggage again.
I still think what you said was funny is we should get like 100 of those
and just tape them on the inside thing and say,
yeah.
And put a big message in the middle. Yes, thank you again for inspecting my bicycle. I hope you've enjoyed it.
If anyone doesn't know what I'm talking about, is when you like my golf clubs, when I got here to Florida, I opened it up. I had a big old TSA was in here, but note. I guess as a courtesy, they let you know, hey, we were in here. But
yeah,
I mean, there's nothing in there. Go ahead, look all you want. I mean,
it's interesting.
But yeah, it is interesting because it's weird because you take all the you're trying to be nice and you're trying to take all the effort of putting it in there and protect everything. And then the worst was when you and I were in Georgia last year and we saw those guys monkeying with their bikes.
They're like taking the bikes, everything. I was like, no, we got everything in there just right.
Can I tighten that before you put the case back on? And so we both missed our flight. So we were both very heated. And so we were watching. And so, by the way, in normal airports and big airports, you don't see that. But this was like,
they're just like right out in this big area.
Right out in the open. And so
it's like, and that's not metal. It doesn't bend. It just breaks because it's.
Excuse me, sir. Do you actually know what what carbon fiber is? Could you please not do that? So,
so we're looking for people to join the team.
Yep.
We've already got some things, and we've got a couple of for like Big Bragg. We got a couple of ideas of potential other things we're going to do there as a team. So that'll be fun. So I just wanted to throw that out there.
And I saw on my way down to Florida that Big Bragg had shared our link again for the show that we did with Franklin. So please check that out if you haven't. Just to give you an idea, Franklin was awesome, put together some really neat things for each stopover town and breweries, distilleries, a little bit of humor, a little bit of...
Put in a trivia format. Yes.
A little bit of history. And one thing I re-listened to the show, I was hiking and I re-listened. And he said, Awesomeville from Dawsonville. And after he said that, I remember that from the movie and stuff, but, it took a little bit to click in. But, and then now Dawsonville made the news again. And our friend Dennis wrote us and told us that there's a moonshine distillery there. And he showed us some pictures and I'm excited about that. So,
which is interesting because 2 nights ago, sitting out here on our balcony, and we had a discussion about the difference between moonshine and whiskey. So it was cool. I'm looking forward to it.
Moonshine you enjoy under the moon? No, just kidding.
See, that's the problem. I'm going to get into a rant here. I'm not going to do that. So we'll save my liquor rants for another episode.
Oh, when he's maybe not doped up on decongestants.
Decongestants, NyQuil, DayQuil. Yeah.
half the face is like it's time for a nap. The other face is like, I'm ready to go.
Last night I crashed hard.
You did.
You were like, you want to go out and have a drink? And I was like, no. I
know. It felt weird. There I was on the balcony having a little bit of a... And then...
A true friend would have said, no, man, I'm hanging with you. If you're not having one, I'm not having... Because that's what I would have done. And Adam's like, okay, fine. I'm going to go have my cigar and my bourbon.
You're right.
So
You're right. I'm not a true friend. I decided that I was going to be selfish. Now, the reason I'm selfish is because in my little humble
blaming.
No, I'm not blaming
No,
you
go
for
ahead.
nothing. In my humble abode where I choose to live, it's 6 degrees outside. So, to have a cigar, I have to heat up the garage, and then I gotta wait until it all heats up, get it acclimated, then crack the door because I don't want it to smell. And so I sit right at the end where the heat is going out, which takes the cigar smoke with it. I could not smoke at all.
This is why you don't live in.
But I'm not living in Central Time. That's true. But anyways, so actually, I would live in Central Time. I have many times. So, we are going to have another listener spotlight. I'm not going to leave you hanging on Michael's hot dog experience.
Oh, we're getting back to that.
Well, we're gonna.
It's like okay, go ahead. You make it sound like I broke some law or something. FBI is going to pound down the door here at Disney World and arrest me or something. It was a hot dog. There's the FBI right there.
We're good.
You better go check.
I don't think so. I mean,
it's the FBI.
Well, I'm coming.
Okay, now that he's been taken away, we can have some real frank discussions about it. Okay, they're taking a visual check here, so come on in. We're doing a podcast. Hey, isn't that? Okay, thank you. Have to do a visual check.
Okay. All right, we're leaving that in.
We're totally leaving that in.
That's really interesting.
They have to do a visual check, to make sure that
I don't know.
I'm not dead on the floor in here or something?
Now, hold on. I do have a little bit to add to that. So when my house was destroyed in 2013, I lived in a hotel. I lived in a hotel for 2 months. And at that time, they told me that every 10 days, they had the right to come in and inspect. And we knew and that makes logical sense. It's their property. We had a pet. We had a cat at the time. I have 2 cats now, but and so what we did is I said, well, hold on a second. If you're going to come in, I've got a pet will wait for the door. They would do a scheduled 10-day visit.
Okay.
We've only been here 48 hours. That's really weird.
And what's funny is both you and I have been here many times to many of the resorts.
Right.
I was just here 2 weeks ago.
Right.
We were there for 6 days, 7 days.
Right.
And never once did they do a visual check.
Except if you went to the parks, they come in and they empty your garbage, and maybe that might have been the visual check.
That's true. Well, yeah, they did come in and check, but yeah, maybe that's it. Okay. I don't know.
So Michael and and Franklin, here we go again, buddy. I'm sorry, but Michael and I both are members for their vacation club here, timeshare. And so what they do is they call mousekeeping. So you don't get housekeeping every day. And I'm not here to sell you DVC. You can look it up. But I just want to be clear, when you're looking at it, you only have new, fresh sheets if you're staying here 4 nights. Besides that, it's considered what they call welcome home, quote unquote. So you have to use the same towels. You can't just think, oh, I'm going to get new towels because I'm staying in a hotel.
You can request them.
You can, but sometimes they can actually, depending on where you're staying and how long, you can actually get fees for that because it's part of the agreement. So, but if anyone can go to the pool, use your brain, go to the pool and you can get, other things. So, but, exactly. But this is really weird. We're sitting here recording, and a guy comes in and says, I need to do a visual check, which, by the way, he didn't check the bathroom. He didn't check the bedroom. I assume you're doing a visual check to make sure that people are alive.
I don't know. There's several rooms here he didn't check.
Well,
but he didn't even actually look around the corner in the kitchen either.
Probably felt uncomfortable when you walked in.
Hey, we're doing a podcast. He's like, oh.
Should we give him creator credit?
Everything, yeah.
We need to get his. We
need to figure out what his name was.
That's right. To get information. But
anyway, Disney, we appreciate you looking out for our safety. I think he was a little shocked when he walked in because you can't see it, but we have taken the They've got they started out in campers, these tables where you can pull the top up and it's higher.
Yeah. Coffee
My
table.
parents had one in their camper like 20 years ago, coffee table. And we've got lights hooked to that. We've got cameras hooked to that. We've got boom arms hooked to that. We got electronics. We've got 2 monitors going on. We got a computer over there. So he probably walked in and he's probably calling the FBI right now going, there's something going on in this room. So
I was just thinking maybe we should wrap it up. So no, just kidding.
time to move to another place.
That's right.
What's funny that we're like, oh, the FBI will be coming any minute. And then it's like,
hello, housekeeping.
anyway, part of our adventures. So that's pretty cool.
That's funny. So couldn't plan that better.
No, that was perfect.
Well, so on the agenda is we're going to meet a good friend of ours tonight, friend of the show, team member. We are meeting our friend Armando. Which
we've hooked up with in Florida before.
Yep.
We've ridden with him in Georgia,
Kentucky.
a couple times in Kentucky. And so, yeah, this will be fun.
We're having dinner with him, and we look forward to spreading the joy of our friendship with him. So, with that being said, we talked about sponsorships. We're definitely in search for one of those. So it could be something small. Sponsorship does not mean like, okay, they want thousands of dollars. Could be, few bucks, and we'll mention the show, in the beginning or end. We have this thing called dynamic content, which is where you hear, hey, Michael, have you heard that we're going to, have a jersey store? We can definitely put something in the front of there so you're heard on every show that's downloaded. There's many ways that we can work together. So reach out to us and we can work together.
Or just come out with some crazy bicycle invention, give it to Adam, sell him on it, and he'll talk about it every single episode.
Speaking of that, did you bring your Debrim?
I don't own a Debrim, but I am surprised. Ironically, we're going to talk about Debrim again. See what I'm saying? You don't golf with a Debrim, which I find it funny because you make fun of me when I put sunscreen on because you say it's causing cancer.
It's a carcinogen.
Fake news, total. But yet when we come golfing in sunny Florida, you don't wear your Debrim. What's the difference?
I actually do have a Titleist big brim hat for really sunny days. It wasn't really that sunny yesterday. Sun didn't even come.
What do you mean? You got a Titleist? So Titleist makes the brims for golfing?
No, Titleist makes the same like big wide brim around your head.
So goofy hat is what they make.
Okay.
Sorry, Titleist. He doesn't use your golf balls either, or your clubs, or your towels, or actually doesn't own anything that's Titleist.
The one Titleist I found yesterday,
You donated back to
I gave it back to the...
He did use your ball once yesterday. He found it alongside the course, and he donated it to the alligators. So.
I am a TaylorMade man.
Okay.
I don't sell TaylorMade. Darn it, I don't want. No, I'm just kidding. Great movie. So, Brother Wild Thou, if you haven't seen that, you definitely need to see that. So, all right. Well, why don't we wrap this up? We've got a lot of good stuff. We're hoping to get some more content for you.
And
ladies and gentlemen,
this could be fun. We haven't went through it yet. It may be nothing. We actually mic'd ourselves yesterday on the course, and we had 2 GoPro cameras. So who knows what we got in there. So hopefully we got a couple of little interesting tidbits that we can throw onto future episodes or stick on the website or something.
Yeah, we have audio and video. We're going to take it again today, so we'll see how it goes. So, yeah, with that, we got a lot of good stuff. Good to be together. Still think you should need to see that 8-bit movie. And before we finish here, before we go to our listener spotlight, what did Michael do with that hot dog?
Oh,
he decided that we went to Portillo's. Now, depending on what part of the country you're listening to this, Portillo's, we learned yesterday, started in Chicago in 1963 as a hot dog stand. And so for anyone in Illinois area, and I know that Scott Garwick has been to Portillo's, I guarantee it. May not eat there now based upon his experience and now writing and everything, but guarantee he's been there. They are famous for their Italian beefs and chocolate cakes and all kinds of course, Chicago style hot dogs. And
we do not have those in Kansas.
I completely understand, and I realized that yesterday because we, of course, the whole world's gone to order your own food on a LCD screen. I didn't even think you could order from a human, could you?
No.
Okay, that was okay. I wasn't sure.
Forbidden.
And so 100% LCD, which probably cost a couple people their jobs, which is great. Just kidding, of course. It's not great, but so we order and he goes through, and ladies and gentlemen, the man decides he's walking away. He's walking away. What are you? Oh, he decided to put ketchup on his hot dog. Portillo's. Oh my gosh, that is so loud.
Because I still have one with ketchup, because everybody in the Midwest knows, outside of maybe Chicago, no offense, Chicago, a good hot dog has ketchup, it has mustard, and it has relish.
I had to beep him. Ladies and gentlemen, he has got ketchup.
Mustard. Oh, there's ketchup. Look at that. Ketchup.
Oh my gosh. You don't put ketchup on a hot dog.
Well, then it's going to be dry. Nobody wants to eat a dry hot dog.
Anyways, I'm curious. This kind of started a little bit of a debate. I am curious, just on a random thing. Go to our Facebook page, write ketchup or absolutely no ketchup. Don't put anything else on there. I know, hashtag ketchup or hashtag no ketchup. Go to Cycling Man of Leisure, and we'll see how many people are replying. I'm curious to see what responses we get. So,
any self-respecting hot dog eater knows,
guys, we cannot put up with him. So
now I know which button to push.
Excellent. Darn it! I gave away the secret. I shouldn't have given away the secret. So,
yeah. Let's see what people think. Ketchup or no ketchup on a hot dog?
Well,
I did put the celery salt at your persuasion.
Yeah.
Why we need celery salt on a hot dog? I don't know.
It's just part of tradition. Pickle spears and
well, there's lots of traditions, but there's a lot of traditions we've moved away from too. We don't burn people when your neighbor accuses you of being a witch. I think that's a good tradition to move on from, isn't it?
I don't know. I got a neighbor I wouldn't mind if you burnt, but
wow. Okay, we're moving on now.
Well,
if you live in his vicinity, I would watch out.
Well, trust me, if you came to my street, it's very obvious which neighbor I'm talking about. So
I've been to your street, and I know exactly what neighbor you're talking about.
With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for Listener Spotlight. All right, buddy.
Okay. This episode's Listener Spotlight
is brought to you by
not being brought to you by DeBrim. I knew you were going there. Or nor Titleist, because now that you've insulted Titleist, they're never going to listen to our show.
That's a good. Just to be clear, just want to make sure we get it out there. Titleist has phenomenal products. I just am a tailor-made man. Go ahead.
I'm a Dapper Dan guy. This city was founded in the mid 1700s, so it's old school. It was a city that General Washington, met opposition that was not the British Army. That would have been during the Revolutionary War. So that gives you some idea of where this city is located. This city brought the luxury of train travel to the road. You could, in fact, say, and it is argued by some, that the United States was born in this city. This city saw the creation of a candy that is very well known, and in fact, bears its name. What you're thinking right now?
Philadelphia.
Wrong answer.
I know, because there's no Philadelphia.
I'm just letting you know that's immediately what you're thinking. Anybody out there is going to be wrong in 99% of the time. Here's one for you. Transportation was changed forever due to an invention in this city.
The Federal Yellow Standy Line. I'm just kidding.
It's not real.
There is actually a Federal Standy Line.
So says the transportation guy. So there we have it.
Okay. Well, let's thank our listeners from Spokane, Washington. Thank you, all listeners. But
Thank you.
that was kind of interesting that Franklin did guess that. That's why I was kind of confused.
It was a week off, or an episode off. But thanks for the inspiration, Franklin. I appreciate it. It helped.
We did get Paul to write in, and Paul Wade. And paraphrasing, his conversations were about any ride that out there was unsafe or people don't want to go to, and I'm not that was a couple weeks ago. But
so he was saying that if we should identify those rides. Is that what he was saying?
Yeah, kind of maybe point those out to make sure to prepare people not to, although a lot of the rides are unfortunately disappearing, but, he was basically saying, unsafe, rides. And
we've never been on one of those.
Not that we'll talk about here.
Nope.
So, well, anyways, with that being said, we are on site together here in Florida recording. And so this was, exciting to be able to do together. So, with that being said, today looks like it would be a great day
for a bike ride.
Absolutely.
And some golf.
And some dinner and some. Everybody have a great day.
See ya.